I have such an incredible treat for you guys today. I have created this pretty incredible Pinterest stack. Now, you can use what I'm about to show you on any type of blogging. It's good for SEO, it'd be good for other type of social promotion, but specifically today, I want to show you what I created for Pinterest, which not only packs your website full of valuable content, it is directly what the Pinterest user wants. And even better, we are using AI to create it all. Now, you don't have to, but in my step-by-step formula, I do use AI, so I'm going to show you how we use AI. I am using a set of tools. You can do things manually. You can use your own tools. You can work your way up to tools, but this is absolutely incredible. Let me show you the concept first. Now, here is the concept. You do a little bit of research and you find out what topic you're going to cover. Okay. I like pin clicks. I'm putting a link below to all the tools I talk about. I like pin clicks for my keyword research. Let's just say you go to pin clicks, you type in a keyword like DIY crafts, then you can kind of search for suggested topics and things like that. So I came up this morning with 30 creative ways to repurpose old jeans. Now, 30 is a lot. 30 is a big, big number because you're going to be creating images for each. We're going to be creating micro blog posts for each. But I kind of want to give you how it would look in its entirety so you understand the concept. I'm going to open this in its creation form so that we can get past the ads and you can see what this looks like. So 30 creative ways to repurpose old jeans, right? So what you might need, then we've got idea number one, a denim pocket organizer. We've got an image. We've got a couple paragraphs describing that one before we move on to the next. When the user clicks that denim pocket organizer, it's going to open a blog post that gives the step-by-step instructions on how to create that item. Clearly, I have ads in here, but you get the concept, okay? So each pillar post is a group of ideas, and then each of those ideas spins off into a new article. Each one of those articles is going to have the ability to have its own pin that you can then pin on Pinterest. When it's all done, we are going to have 30 ideas from the one pillar post. Then we're going to have 30 more pins because each of those blog posts has its own pin. And each of those pins is its own URL, meaning right up here, ballenblogger.com, denim pocket organizer. This is what Pinterest wants. Pinterest doesn't want you creating 100 different pins that send somebody to the same URL. They want to see fresh URLs. So what we're doing here is we're giving the list post idea, which is what Pinterest users like. But if they see something that they're inspired by, they click on the instructions, they go over to that blog post, they now have the instructions. You even could put a little offer on here, download this without ads so that they get the step-by-step tutorial in a PDF. Then you have a lead magnet, and that's a way to plus this whole system. You can even sell it. You could sell this step-by-step in a 99-cent instruction or a $9.95 instruction, but we'll get into all that at another time. The whole goal here is to drive traffic to your website. So let me show you how this is done. Now, there's a lot of steps to this. And what I did is I took the time to put this all in a comprehensive step-by-step Power Stack guide. Literally tells you how to do the research, how to create the pillar post, how to create all the images. I give you the prompts. I tell you the tools I use. I give you I think it's 15 or 16 pages in all, and it's only $27. There's a link below, but I'm going to show you now the step-by-step, and you'll be able to get an idea of what it is that we're doing. Okay, so let's pretend we're going to make up something new, okay? So I would normally go over to pin clicks to do my research, but for the sake of right now not logging in, let's just pretend we're doing another kind of DIY craft. So go to DIY crafts, And then right here, you can see DIY crafts related room decor, fun DIY crafts, easy, Dollar Tree. You pick whatever it is that you want to do. Okay, let's go over to this DIY craft with flowers. I've not done this before. This is just an exact inspirational item. If we're using pin clicks is going to tell us which keywords people are searching for and what are getting the most search volume. It's going to show us image ideas, but let's just pretend you're not there yet. You don't have the budget yet. These are so cute. That you're just using Pinterest for research. Fine. Okay. Now, let's look at that one. 23 simple fabric flower pretty ideas to make. Over here, we've got step-by-step paper flowers. Over here, we've got spring flowers. We have pressed flower lanterns. 20 pretty flower projects. All right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go with flower projects, DIY flower projects. So over here, I'm going to open ChatGPT. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it from here. So I use a Chrome extension called Harpa. In my guide, you're going to see me mention this over and over again. It's the best thing since sliced bread, I'll tell you what, because it runs my AI tool alongside the page. So it becomes page aware, so it can interact with a page. That's the beauty of this Harpa. So over here, I'm going to open Harpa and I'm going to say, write an article. Now I give you my exact prompt in the kit, but I'm just going to put write an article called, let's do 25 DIY flower craft projects. Use proper markdown blog format for each item on the list. Give me a 2-paragraph summary of the idea. Okay. I give you my exact prompt, but it's something along these lines. Okay, here we go. 25 DIY flower craft projects. So as you can see, now my Harpa is integrating with ChatGPT, and I am using the most recent version of ChatGPT. If you're using different AI tools or different models, you might get different outputs. Something to consider. The outputs do change. If I connect Harpa to Claude, or I connect it to Gemini, or I'm using 3.0 mini versus 4, you might notice a little bit of a variation, but you use whatever you like. This is going to integrate with whatever tool it is that you want. Okay, this is perfect. I'm actually getting what I want right out of the gate. So we're going to take this 25, and you can see here 22, 23. So this is only going to take you a few minutes to do this very first piece. The most you'll spend is in your research if you're using pin clicks to come up with the best topics. But what we just did willy-nilly, that was a very quick way of doing this. Okay, now up here, I'm going to go to new blog post. I'll put a link below. I use WP Engine WordPress, and the theme I'm using today, I think, is called JNews. You guys always ask me that, so that's why I'm saying it. Okay, there we go. This is the idea. Now, basically, we're done with the article. We now are going to just do the couple basics. We're going to create our featured blog photo image, and we're going to create a pin for this blog and do a couple more things on this side piece, which I'll show you. And then we're going to spin this off into micro blog posts. Okay, so up here, we need a featured image. I open Harpa, and I'm going to say, give me a featured blog photo for this article. No text. Now, if you have a website that you like to have text on your featured blog photo, go ahead. If you have a theme where it automatically puts words across your hero images, you don't want to be adding text to your image. That just depends on you and what you're using. I'm going to go to Ideogram. Remember, all the links are below, and the step-by-step guide is below if you want to have something printed out next to you that has all these steps in it. So we're going to make this a 16 by 9 image because we're doing a featured blog photo. Whoops. Try again. I don't know why it's using this. Every now and then it'll pull up some technical tool, and I don't need it to do that. Oh, I know why. I said create a featured blog photo. I don't want it to create the photo. I'm going to say, give me a featured blog photo idea. for this article, no text. It's actually trying to create something, but I just want the prompt. There it is. For your blog post on 25 DIY flower craft projects, an ideal featured image would showcase a variety of colorful flower crafts. Da, 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 da. Okay, we're going to take this, and I think this is perfect. We're going to try it. Let's go over to Ideogram. Now, if you are using an AI tool that you like that prints out those images, creates those images for you, you're using the new ChatGPT and you want to have ChatGPT create it, you go use whatever you want. I still prefer Ideogram, so that's what I'm using for myself today. So look how beautiful. All of these are usable. There's that one. I like this one better because it doesn't have any gibberish text on the front. There's that one. There's that one. You pick what you like. So I like this one. So I'm going to go to these three dots. I'm going to download JPEG, and I'm going to call this Flower Crafts. Now we need a Pinterest image. So go back and say, now give me a Pinterest image idea with hero style text overlay. Now you could literally say, give me a Pinterest image that has a farmhouse flair, or in black and white, or in pink and blue, or whatever. You can add whatever flavor or that you want on there. But I'm just going to give us a regular one. You could say a feminine one, but it tends to kind of do that on its own. Try again. It got a little stuck in there. Okay, here it comes. I don't know why it's doing that. Give me an idea for a Pinterest pin image with text overlay. Let's try that again. It keeps trying to open some kind of special tool. There we go. You know, this is exactly how these AI tools work. You're never going to get them perfect on the first output. Well, not never. You often won't get them perfect on the first output, and you got to go back and say, try again, do it again, or reprompt it. Just get used to that. That's part of the, it's part of the nature of the system. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to do a 9x16 instead of a 16:9 for the Pinterest style image for the pillar post. Pillar post is a term that we've used in SEO for a while, kind of like the parent blog, the long form blog. All right, here we go. 25 DIY flower craft projects, creative and fun ideas for every occasion. That works. It's a little gibberishy down there. 25 DIY flower craft projects, creative and fun ideas. This one's perfect. That's probably the one we're going to use. Number 2 looks good. Number 3 also looks good. I think I'm going to go with number 2. So I'm going to right click, download JPEG. We're going to call this flower projects pin. And we're going to save this. I would say this process is going to take you probably, this would take me about 30 minutes to do the main one before I move on to the micro blog post, if you're trying to get an idea of how long this might take. So you might only do one of these projects per week. You might also figure out ways to automate this, because there are ways to automate it too. Or you start it and sub out the rest of it to somebody else. All of that stuff will work. While I'm doing this, it already created kind of a meta description for me, actually. Let me do this. Give me a meta description. Because this is what's in your book, that the step-by-step guide. This is what I do. I tell it to give me a meta description. So now it's going to give me a meta description. Okay. Now, if you have a WordPress blog like I do, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to Set Featured Image. You're going to go to Upload, select Files, and you're going to upload that Flower Crafts image, and that's going to become your featured blog image. Now, what's important about that is later, when we go back to the list post and we add links to each of the little micro posts, we're also going to add that featured blog image to the pillar post without having to recreate another image. So here's our meta description, set featured image. I put the meta description in the excerpt. That's what I use it for. That's done. Now here, the link, and I do have this in your step-by-step guide, you're going to take that down to just the keyword. I don't like to keep the numbers in there. Sometimes I forget, but I don't like dates or numbers in the URL because what if I add more to this later? So I just usually shrink that down just to the main keyword, DIY flower craft projects. That works perfectly. Then what category do you want it in? I'm going to put it in my crafts. And then do you have any tags, something to do with flower projects? Oh, I do. What? Dried flower decor. I'm going to go with that. Okay. Now this is done. Your pillar post is done for the moment. Later, like I said, we're going to come back and we're going to add links to our micro posts, and we're going to add we're going to add images to each one. But for moment one, this is technically done, and you can go right into promotion if you wanted to. Some people will like to create all the microblog posts before they ever do any promotion. That's up to you. So what I do is I use Tailwind. So this is done. I go down here to schedule. Tailwind is a Pinterest scheduler. If you don't want to use a Pinterest scheduler, then what you would do instead right now is you would open Pinterest and you would upload that pin. In my step-by-step guide, I actually give you both options using the native scheduler and using Tailwind. You're going to run into limits with the native scheduler. I believe Pinterest only gives you like 6 weeks out of scheduling. And I like to space all of these individual ideas about a week apart. You don't have to, because each of the little micro blog posts is actually going to have its own image and its own URL. So you technically could publish them all at the same time or in the same week or over a few days period. But this is my strategy to keep the blog a living project, is to schedule out pins far enough apart where basically every week there's new pins, there's new traffic to those microblog posts, and then those microblog posts are going to drive people back to the pillar post, and it just keeps this whole engine alive is just the word I'm using. That's in my head. That's what I look at it as. It's a living blog, right? It's constantly driving people to it. So with Tailwind, you can see here 25 DIY flower craft projects. It puts in the pin description and it puts this in. Now, the reason why it does that is because I'm using a plugin called alt text, I think it is. And the alt text creates this little pin description. If you don't have that, you'll have to enter some sort of pin description right there. And you can have Harpa create that for you very easily. Okay, so now that's done. Then where do I want to put this? In my case, I want it to go to my crafts board. So I'm going to say fun crafts, and then I'm going to click schedule. So just there, you just watched me create the whole thing, do quick research, create a long form blog post, create the 2 images, and publish it all within a very short amount of time. So that's how easy it is to create that pillar post. Now, the time frame comes in when we start creating all of these micro blog posts, but that's what we're going to do next. So the next step is create a step-by-step how-to article for number 1. Now, again, if you're not using Harpa, you could just open your AI tool right now and type in this little summary and say, create a how-to based on this. You don't have to use all the tools I'm using, but I'm showing you exactly how I do it because this is exactly how I do it. Okay, so now we got this whole article. So take your step-by-step how-to, and we're going to go over here and we're going to create new post. I'm going to do this in a new tab so we can keep our pillar post open. And I'm going to paste this right here. Now, you don't need this little picture of this. That's coming from my preset instructions from my regular blog post, but you really don't need that. What we are going to do down there is we're going to put a call to action that leads them back to the main pillar post. So right here, I'm going to say, instead of the picture of this, add a call to action that sends them back to the pillar post. Now, once you get this done right the first time, how you like it, then you'll just be able to rinse and repeat, and I'll show you. So here we go. So now it's basically creating the whole blog again. We don't need the whole blog again. We just need the call to action that's at the end. But this is fine because it's kind of training it on how we want to move forward. There it is. Want to move forward, want more DIY craft inspiration, check out the full list. Okay, so what I do now is I paste this at the bottom, the full list. Then I'm just going to highlight 25 DIY flower projects. I'm going to click that little paperclip, and I'm going to the little link, and I'm going to type in DIY flower, and then it's going to do this little search onto my system, and I want to find the actual blog, not the JPEGs. DIY, there it is. 25 DIY flower craft projects. You can see it's a post. Boom, link, done. That is going to drive all that SEO, all that link equity back to your pillar post, whether that's you're focused on SEO, you're focused on Pinterest SEO, whatever, okay? So now we have this. Now we need our image. So go to Harpa and give me a featured blog photo idea that is a good depiction of what this would look like when finished. That's not an exact, the way I'm prompting is not, it can change. It's not exact. You just chat with it like you would an assistant. For the featured blog photo, imagine a clean, rustic workspace. Okay, that looks good. Let's go over here and we're going to do a 16:9 because we want the featured blog photo first. Now, what are we creating? Step-by-step flower art, press flower art. Okay, it's just basic. Okay, we're just making a flower art, like wall hanging or something. Yep, this is perfect. These are all fine. This looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Ooh, I like the dimensions on that one. That looks good. Okay, I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to go to download JPEG, flower projects, pressed art number 1. You call it whatever you want. I just want to be able to remember it. Then you're going to go back to your little spin-off blog. Where is it? Let me close that. Right here. And I'm going to say, now give me the same image idea, but on a Pinterest pin with text overlay, including the keyword. Okay, while it's doing that, I'm going to come over here to set featured image, upload, select files, and we're going to add our flower projects number 1. And then here's our new blog post. I mean our new prompt for the Pinterest image. While that's uploading, go back to Ideogram. We're going to paste this. We're going to change this to a 9:16 for our Pinterest image, and we're going to click generate. Can you imagine the rinse and repeat of this if you were able to create one of these every single day? Like if that's all you did, imagine how fast your account would grow. It would be incredible. And so, although AI is the big pushback here, you know, does Pinterest want AI? Do consumers want AI? Yada, yada. My data shows you that the Pinterest users do, as long as it's quality and it's not like bait and switch. It actually looks like what they're creating. Here we go. Press flower art step-by-step guide. This is perfection. We're going to go to download JPEG, pin 1 flower art. We're going to go back here. We've got our featured blog photo. And then I do tell you in my guide to change this URL step by step. Let's do pressed flower art. Done. Then again, you're going to put this in your crafts down here. Add your tag. In my case, we're doing dried flower decor. Good. Now all I got to do is add my pin. Enter. Add the plus sign. Image. Upload. There's my pin. Nope. There's my pin. Open. Now, while this is, it's going to upload, and then I usually make mine a full-size image. It's just, I like the way it spaces out on the page better. So I wait for that to upload. Then I go over here to block, and I make that a full-size image. Okay. And we've got the link back. We're done with this page. Click publish. So in this short amount of time, we've already created 2 valuable full blog posts. Okay. Now click that little scheduler again, or if you don't have Tailwind, you're going to open your Pinterest. I'm going to go down here to my scheduler. Now for me, I'm going to schedule this new idea to go out tomorrow. Again, you can do this one day apart. You can do this 1 week apart. It really depends on your volume How much are you pinning? How many blogs are you getting done? Are you automating any of this? You don't want to trip the spam filters. So if you're nervous about it, space everything 1 week apart, each blog post 1 week apart. If they're each a unique URL, 1 day apart is perfectly fine. And technically, if they're each a unique URL and they're each a unique image, you could post them all at the same time if there's only like 20 ideas, because Pinterest is going to have a max of what you can post in the same day anyway. So those are just some things to consider. Nobody really knows the how manys. I just don't want to trip their spam filter. So I usually space mine apart. Plus I like that it creates a living blog, like I said. So we already did today. So this is going to be, let's do this one for tomorrow, the 28th, schedule at 9:51 a.m. Click schedule. Now this is going to immediately drop it in here into my Pinterest scheduler. Okay. I try to keep my pins about 30 pins per day as a max is kind of the way I set mine up. Now I've been on a hiatus from this because I was taking a cruise. I was working on other projects. I was waiting to see what it was going to do with AI. Now that I'm back pretty aggressively, I'll get that built back up again. But that's just kind of my policy, is about 30 pins per day. But it could be as low as 1 and as many as 30, I guess is what I'm getting at. Again, nobody knows the exact number, so don't quote me on Lori said 30 pins. I'm just telling you kind of what my practices have been so far. Okay, one more step. Now that we created this, and look at that instant traffic. We've already got these published and going. One more step. We need to come back here now, click edit post. This is our pillar post where we started. Now we're going to add the image for that pressed flower art so that it correlates with the image on that featured blog post. So when they click over, they're going to see the same thing and they're going to know they're in the right place. That must not, is that full size? Yeah, that's full size. Okay. And then right here, we want to link to that micro blog post that gives them step-by-step instructions. So right here where it says press flowers, our classic way to preserve nature's beauty. For this project, collect fresh flowers, press them between. Okay, so you could even optimize this keyword right. For this, I'm going to say pressed flower art project. Then I'm going to highlight this pressed flower. I'm going to do framed art. You can be really strategic about those keywords. I'm not teaching you as much about targeting the keyword on each spinoff, but you could. So I'm going to do flower art, and we just need to find that post we just did. And it was, what's it actually called? Step by step. Yep, that's it. Step by step right here. Make sure you're linking to the right one, and then you're going to hit save. So then all you have to do is rinse and repeat this by going to Harpa and say, now do the same thing for number 2. And now it'll write number 2. You'll get your meta description. You'll get your featured blog photo. You'll get your image. You'll create the blog post. You'll link back to the pillar post. Then you'll go back to the pillar post. You'll add the featured blog image and the link to the micro post. You rinse and repeat, and you go to number 3. When you're done, you've got this incredible whole systematic connection of all these blogs and this pillar post. You just keep building, and then you just rinse and repeat this over and over and over and over and over again with the original list post idea and then all the spinoffs. Then you're satisfying the list post desires without over spamming, without making your website look like it was made for AdSense, without offending the premium advertisers that don't like a whole website full of listicles, because you just created 25 spinoffs that are not listicles. They're how-tos, step-by-steps, right? Different. Anyway, I think you got the whole idea. I'll put a link below to the $27 guide so that you can get this and print it out and work with me. All the tools are listed below. If you'd like this kind of training, please consider joining my Blueprint coaching program. Thanks for joining me today.